Hi, I'm Beth. Welcome to my channel, Mindful Yoga with Yogi Beth C. I'm a yoga teacher and I'm also a clinical psychologist, sometimes known as Dr. Beth, with over 25 years of experience. I love combining yoga and mental health. That's why I'm offering this practice, a yoga class for depression. Now, if we are in a low mood or sluggish, have no energy, it's hard to get our body moving and it's easy to get stuck in our heads. This class is designed to gently help you move your body. We'll start on the floor, we'll gradually make our way to standing, and we'll end back on the floor. You can do just a little bit of this class, you can do the whole class. That's up to you, and I'll actually suggest some stopping points during the class. It would be helpful to have a few cushions or pillows. You can use bed pillows if you like. You might have to smush them up and double them up. Blankets, they will be really useful during this practice if you can find something to assist. We are going to start lying on the floor with one of our cushions. You see I have two here. Mine are actually meditation cushions, and so they're fairly thick. I'm going to bring one to the lower third of my mat, and this is going to go under my hips. So you can start seated on it, or you can come to lying and then lift your hips, whatever is easier for you. And as I lie back, I want to find a spot where the prop, whatever you're using, is supporting right underneath the sacrum, and that's right at the lower part of our spine. You don't want it digging into your waist or too low, and in fact I'm going to scooch a little bit back toward my head, and that feels like a really good spot for me. So we'll start here for a moment and just get used to the prop. We'll be doing dynamic movements, so moving the body gently in a repetitive way, again, to encourage your body to begin to move, your attention to begin to turn toward your body rather than your thoughts. So from this position, use your hands to help yourself take one knee and then the other so that your knees come in toward your chest. Now, if that makes you feel too unstable on your prop, you can come down and readjust. If your prop is too small to comfortably support you, grab a couple towels, another blanket so you can be comfortable here. Find a spot where you can comfortably hold. That might be on the top of your knees, on the sides of your thighs, it doesn't matter where. And when our breath goes out, when we exhale, we're going to gently use the hands to pull the knees closer to the chest. And then on an inhale, we'll let the arms straighten and the knees move whatever comfortable distance away from the body. So we're going to move like that. And of course, you do not need to be in coordination with me. Let your breath dictate the pace of this. And if it's too distracting to pay attention to the breath, that's fine. Simply focus on the movement of your body. So feel what happens when the knees come in, and maybe you feel a little bit of compression on the front body. Feel what happens when the knees move out, and maybe you feel a little bit more space in your chest. But it's doable to pay attention to the breath. Remember that it's the exhale, the knees come in, and you might actually feel like you're gently squeezing the breath out of your body. And then as you inhale, you move the knees away and you create space for the breath. Breathe in and out through the nose if that's available to you. Let's do one more in and out, so breathing in and out. And then we'll come back to not just the knees over the chest, but the feet actually back down on the floor. And again, adjust your cushion if you need to so that you can be comfortable here. You want your feet comfortably close to the bottom because we're going to do some bridge movement. So that means lifting the hips off of this prop. It's really nice to start on the prop because there's not a long way to lift. And you can lift just a slight hover off the prop or more. That will be up to you. Once again, we're going to coordinate the movement of our breath, and this time the arms as well, by reaching the arms overhead. And for a few times, feel yourself reach the shoulder blades open and then settle them back. So this is called retracting when you pull them back and protracting when you reach up. And then let the shoulder blades settle across the mat, down by the mat. Take a breath in. And then on your next breath in, again, you might have to adjust your feet. We're going to push into the feet to lift the hips and then settle back down. I think I'm going to draw my prop a little closer to me for this. That'll feel a little more comfortable. So breath in, push into your feet, any amount of lift. And then exhale, come back down. And again, there's not a long way to go. If you don't like doing this on the prop, you can take the prop away. This time we'll breathe in, and as you breathe in, open your arms. And as you exhale and lower, reach them back together. Breathe in, open the arms, feel that width across your collarbones, across your chest. Exhale, arms come in as the hips settle down. My legs are staying about hip width apart. So as I move the arms, I'm not moving the legs. If you prefer, you can try it with the feet together, and then when you lift and open the arms, you let the knees open. As you exhale, you bring the knees back in. Try it a few times this way to see how that feels. Know that you always have options. You get to choose whether or not to do the movement. This time, let's keep our arms up. Lift the hips with the arms there. And maybe, if it feels okay, push a little bit more into the hips. Feel as if you're moving your knees away from you and reaching the ribs toward your chest. And then either keep the arms here or reach them up overhead, palms up. Breathe and hold here just for a moment. And if you'd like to come down, you can take the prop out first and then start to roll your back, roll your hands, come all the way down. Just rest your hands on the ribs for a moment. See if you can feel the breath nourishing and supporting you. However it feels, whether it feels shallow or deep, long, it's all okay. All right, and then I'm going to roll toward you. We'll help ourselves up to a seated position, and we're still going to use the prop. This time we're going to sit on it. And so by sitting on the prop, your hips get a little bit more height. It usually helps us to keep our spine a little longer, which is what we want for this movement. And then we're going to take the soles of the feet together and let your legs flop out for a moment. Maybe rest your hands somewhere on your legs or wherever by your sides. And see if you can feel your sits bones on the support. Feel your spine upright. We're going to cross one hand over the other. If you're mirroring me, it's going to be your left arm over your right, somewhere where you can hold your knees, hold your legs. So your knees aren't going to be as wide when you do that. They're going to be up more. That's totally fine. That's what we want. We want to support ourselves a little bit here in this little bit of a hug. And then we're going to take the top arm, and again, I'm mirroring you, so we're going to be turning left. Reach the top arm to the left. As you spin around the ribs, you can look behind toward that hand. And then come back, weave that arm under as you grab the opposite leg or knee, and we'll go to the other side. Now, if you can, inhale as you come back to center, weave the arm under. Exhale as you turn and reach back. Inhale back to center, weave. Exhale as you spin the other direction. Inhale to center, and you get this rhythm here. Exhale to twist. Now you might go slower than I am going, really almost like you're moving through molasses or syrup. Or you might choose to speed it up a little bit to find a little bit of rapid movement if that feels okay today. Remember, the point is to feel our bodies moving through space, to gently start to encourage ourselves to move. So whatever pace you choose doesn't matter. I'm going to go slower and do one more on each side. So exhaling, reaching back, really spinning around my ribs. Inhaling, weaving that hand under. And finally to the second side, reaching back, spinning open, feeling that space. And inhaling, come back. This time you can release your legs. Let them go here. We'll come to a kneeling position. You won't need your cushion here. And put it more toward the top of your mat. And I'm going to sit on my heels. We're not going to stay here. We're going to be moving. If you prefer to be upright kneeling, we're going to go into that position next, and you can be upright the whole time. So we're going to do a little sequence with breath. Again, if the breath feels too complicated, let go of the breath and pay attention only to the movement of the body. As we inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead, coming to standing kneel. And exhale is going to take us down to an all fours position. Next, inhale, body rounds up into what we call cat pose. Exhale and release. And then push in your hands to inhale, reach back up, bend your arms, elbows back as you exhale, and sit back on your heels. One more time slow, and then we'll move the pace up a little bit. Inhale up overhead. Exhale, come forward onto all fours. Inhale as you arch into cat. Exhale, come down into cow. And then push into your hands, push into your knees as you inhale and come up. And exhale and slide down. Inhale up, and this time as we come down, we'll come to all fours, and then we'll exhale, and then we'll come into our cow pose first. So find all fours, then inhale into your cow pose, exhale into your cat pose, and from this rounded back, push into your hands, inhale up, and exhale down. So just playing around with the breath a little bit. One more time. Inhale up, exhale into all fours. Again, I'll inhale into the back bend, cow pose. Exhale, rounding into cat. And then my next inhale takes me tall one more time. And exhale as I come down. We have one more pose kneeling, and for this pose we are going to use the cushion again. I'm going to show you two versions of either a puppy pose or a downward dog pose with head support. I know in the puppy pose I only need the one cushion. If I do it in downward dog, I'm going to need two. So I'll show it to you both ways. Whichever pose you choose will stay for maybe about 3 to 5 breaths. Come out of it before then if that's what's right for you. So having your cushion at the top part of your mat, that's going to be a support for your forehead. If you're doing a puppy pose, our hips stay over the knees. Now walk back just a little bit. And arms are going to walk and extend forward. So you take a long plank shape with your upper body. Hands are down, arms are straight, and then you find a place where you can rest your forehead on the cushion. I'm really sending my hips back, my hands forward, trying to make the center of my body as long as possible. And breathing. Now I'm going to walk myself out of this pose. You can come out for a moment and then repeat, or you can practice downward facing dog with me. For a downward facing dog, I know that I need a little bit of a higher prop setup. You might find that you don't. We're going into an upside down V shape. So the hands are basically in the same position, but this time the legs are straight. Hands come down, toes tuck. Find your upside down V, and then arrange your feet, arrange your hands so that you can get that support for your head. Pressing your heels away to lengthen your back. And hold for about 3 to 5 breaths. When you're ready to come out, bend your knees if you're in dog, walk your hands in if you're in puppy pose. Pause in an upright position for a moment. That was a little bit of a baby inversion with our head lower than our hips. Pause here for a moment. And next we will come up to standing. So join me in a standing position. Okay, we've come to a standing position. Standing we call mountain pose. This is our basic standing pose, but it's not just standing any which way. You want to find a way to stand where you feel strong and stable like a mountain. So I have my feet parallel and about hip width apart. Experiment with the feet, maybe a little wider, maybe a little closer. Find the placement of the feet that really helps you to feel strong and stable. Feel as if the feet are not just releasing to gravity, but pushing down into the ground, into your mat. And then feel that energy draw up your legs. Maybe you can feel it in your center, your core, a sense of a lifting of the collarbones, the front of your chest. And then let your hands be loose by your side, palms either facing your body or facing forward. Feeling tall, feeling strong, or maybe trying to do a little bit of fake it till we make it. Sense that feeling, sense that ability to feel strong, to feel powerful, even if you're not feeling that way in this moment, knowing that the ability is somewhere inside. And then reach the arms up to wherever up is for you. It might be more in front, it might be wide, wherever you can feel a little bit of extension. So this is an extended mountain pose. Maybe you can find a little bit more power here. We'll take a breath in here. And then as you exhale, feel as if you're grabbing a bar and pulling that bar behind your head, bending your elbows, sending your elbows back a little bit. And as you inhale, open your hands, reach back up for the ceiling or the sky. And we're going to repeat that movement. Exhale, pulling the bar, opening your elbows and taking that bar behind your head without moving your head. So I'm not ducking my head forward. Exhale back out. Keep doing this. Keep drawing your arms down as your breath comes in, reaching as you spring open your hands, exhale overhead. Now, like we did with some of our earlier movements, you can speed this up a little bit if you'd like. You can exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. You can even exhale with a sort of so this time you can open your mouth, not just breathe through your nose. Or you can keep that breath in and out through your nose. And of course, slowing it down is an option if that's what helps you connect more with your body. Doesn't matter how it looks, all that matters is what you're experiencing. We're trying to move some energy around and shift things a little bit. Where is that energy shift happening for you? I'm going to try a few more sped up a little bit. Last one. And then let your arms lower. They might be feeling some sensation. There's a little bit of strength work in your shoulders. Let the arms come back down by your side. Again, find your mountain pose or rearrange your feet, your arms if you need to, so that you can again feel pretty strong, pretty stable, pretty rooted. Take that attention to your feet so you can feel that rootedness. Maybe even wiggle your toes a little bit. We'll do just one more standing posture. If you're not up for any more standing postures, you can stop and skip forward to the next pose. I have chapters down below, or you could end your practice here. So it is all up to you. If you are doing the next standing pose with me, you're actually going to come to a wall. I've got this wall behind me, and I'm going to take one of my props over to the wall. I'll actually move this one so you can see. So we're going to do a balance pose, but here we're going to use the wall. See, I'm all the way back up to the wall so that we don't have to struggle with balance, that we can allow the wall to help our body balance and really focus on the opening feeling in the body. I'm actually going to turn my pillow so it's on its side. You can use a little stool or a box, so something that has a little bit of height to it, or you might find that you don't need the height. Turn your front foot in the direction, same direction that you have your prop. My hip is going to stay against the wall the whole time. My back foot, I'm going to try to get it as close to the wall as possible. That's also going to scooch up onto the wall, but it might be a way to start with. We're going into a half moon pose. It's a little bit of a balance pose, or a lot of balance, but again, we're really scooching against the wall to do this pose. So I'm going to bend my front knee. I'm going to start to take a seesaw action. You see I'm coming on the tippy toe of my back foot. I'm keeping my whole back of my arm against the wall, and now as I start to lift the back leg, it can plant, hear that, right against the wall too. And then I'm using this as a prop under the front hand, reaching my back leg away, and it's fine if the back leg is here, height is not the goal. And then with the top arm, it can stay on the hip, or if you feel like you've had some stability, you're pretty stable on your one leg, reach the top arm up, back of the palm against the wall, reach both of your shoulders and the back of your head toward the wall. Really let the whole wall or your whole body stamp against the wall. You can look forward or maybe you look up, and then find the breath. Don't do anything to it, just notice that it's there. Maybe it feels a little more expansive. This is such an expansive pose. Maybe this is a place where you can start to feel a little bit more of your strength, of your powerfulness, of your ability to find physical balance even when the emotional balance isn't there. One more breath into this expansive space. And then if your hand was up, bring it down to your hip. Slowly bend your bottom leg. Let your foot start to come down. And let's actually just take the feet a little way and kind of lean against the wall in a mountain pose. So feel this supported mountain. Sometimes we need to rely on supports, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The supports help us get to a place where we might not otherwise be able to get to. All right, we're going to do that on the second side. So move your prop to the other side. And remember, you'll have one toe, your front leg is going to be turned toward the prop. I'm going to take my same hand as that front leg and place the back of the palm against the wall. This arm is really going to stay on the wall the whole time. My foot is a little bit away from the wall so that my prop is a little bit more toward my pinky toe, and you'll have to play around with that a little bit. And then we start to find that seesaw action, coming on the tippy toe of the back foot so we can feel ourselves start to reach down. And again, you might have to adjust. And then as you reach down toward your prop, let the back leg come right onto the wall. Really push the back leg into the wall. Whatever height it is, my heel is pushing against the wall. So we have, whether it's here or here, my heel is pushing toward the wall. This hand is either on the prop or simply pushing against the wall as well. And then if you find your stability here, once again, you can take the top arm and reach that toward the wall as well, so that you can really press your body toward the wall. And that actually makes the pose a little easier, a little bit more supported. At the same time, it also feels so wide, so open. And we'll find a few breaths in this wide open space. Gaze can be up at the top hand, it can be straight ahead, it could also be toward your bottom hand. Last breath or two. And then when you're ready, you'll start to re-bend the front leg, take the top hand down. If possible, slowly rising up. And you can once again support your body, finding your supported mountain. We are going to finish this practice back down on the mat. So join me on the mat and be sure you have at least one, maybe two cushions available as you come back down to the mat. Okay, we are going to finish with one, maybe two poses. You have the option of doing just one of these supported poses or doing both of them. I'm going to show you the one first. If that one is great for you, stay there. If you don't like that one so much, use the chapters to skip to the last pose and go right to that pose. Either of these poses can also serve as our relaxation pose, and you are welcome to stay in them as long as you want, although I will cue to come out at some point. So what I'm going to do here is take both cushions, and I'll have might happen to be uneven. I'll have the bigger one, that's going to go under my hips as before, and then the other one is going to be more under my ribs and back. It'll be easier to get a sense of it as I lie down. So I will start sitting on the bottom cushion, and then I'm going to use my arms to help me lie back. Finding the other cushion, you might have them both close together or further away, but I want my shoulders to come down to the ground. So this second cushion is under my rib cage, but my shoulders are going to touch the ground, and especially I'm going to take my arms out into a cactus arm shape. I can feel the backs of my arms and the tops of my shoulders on the ground. So this is an extended supported bridge. You can stay here with your feet planted, or you might choose to slide your legs out any amount. If you come onto your heels and they're a little bit straight, that's fine. They might come more straight, whatever is comfortable. And I'm wiggling and scooching. I actually have kind of the top of my buttocks right in that gap between the two props that I have, and that feels actually fine for me. So in this pose, we want to see if we can feel the openness of our body. You may find yourself feeling kind of vulnerable in this pose. We have our whole front body exposed. And at the same time, we have our whole back body supported. Can you sense that? Can you sense the feeling of the support under your hips, under your middle back, under your heels, under your upper arms, your forearms? Feel the back of your left hand, the back of your right hand, both supported on the ground. And see if you can greet the breath. Can you find the breath in your body as if you are welcoming a friend? Maybe you notice the breath in your abdomen area, maybe in your ribs. Perhaps you feel it tickling around your nose. Breathing in and out through the nose and letting your gaze soften. So maybe softening so that you're not really looking at anything. Closing your eyes is optional. If it's more comfortable and more safe to keep your eyes open, definitely keep them open. Know that you are safe here in your body in this moment. And if this does feel safe and open and comfortable for you to stay, simply stay in this pose. If you would like to try the last pose, which will be a supported waterfall, you can either roll to one side or, like I'm going to do, I'm going to come onto my forearms, use my hands to push me up. And then all I'm going to do is take the cushion away that was under my back. I'm going to start back how we started right at the beginning of practice with my hips supported. Remember, we adjusted the prop to make sure the hips felt supported. We drew our knees into the chest, so we're going to start the same way. And then this time, reach the legs up to the sky. They might stay bent, that's fine. They might come straighter, it doesn't matter. The idea is that we're reversing the effects of gravity. We're taking our legs up higher than our head, than our hearts, and even our hip are a little bit elevated over our heart. And then from here, you can again come into this cactus shape if that felt good. You can reach your arms overhead and make this like an extended L shape. You can also rest your hands somewhere on your body, perhaps on your lower abdominals, perhaps on your rib cage, knowing that you're breathing. And feeling that breath in your body. Knowing that in doing this practice, you've done something for yourself today. You've shown yourself a little bit of self-compassion, that ability to recognize that you're suffering and to share with yourself a desire for the suffering to come to an end. Let's take one last breath in and out through the nose. Start to re-bend your knees. Slowly place one, then the other on the ground. You can come off the cushion and roll to the side to help yourself up. Find a seated position. Again, this is something you did for you. Whether you did one pose in this practice or the whole practice, you deserve to feel a little bit of gratitude for you. Now, as a psychologist, I've offered several different practices with mental health themes. If you want to take a look at some of the other practices, they're up here. I also have some meditations that you might find useful. If there's anything that I can do to help, comment down below. I hope you have a peaceful rest of your day.